What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about being demisexual, what that is, and just my own personal experience with it. So demisexual is basically described as someone that only experiences sexual attraction based on the emotional bond that they have with that person. Your attraction is only as good as your connection. And the older I get, there seems to be kind of like a more rarity in this aspect. I think a big issue has been kind of like the sexual polarization that our culture has just kind of undergone in the more recent years with the accessibility of pornography, just kind of this weird lusty agenda that's pushed our culture and kind of warped our value system. Because like, let's be honest, like the stuff that does the best on the internet, on social media, is usually the type of content that is out there, so to speak. It's the more edgy. It's like this idea of like, you know, how close to the line can we get without actually crossing it. All of us are really on the spectrum, whether on this end or that end. Why do I say that? Well, it's because connection is what makes us human. So beauty is fleeting, right? Physical beauty fades, it doesn't last. It's an important quality for sure, but it's a bad judge of potential and can cloud your rationale in pursuit of a life partner. 2 or 3 years ago, I remember being at this boxing gym. This was like when I was first starting to get into boxing, and there was like a girl instructor, and she was the one that was like facilitating the class. And so we were all like on our little what are they called? Oh my gosh, punching bags. So we're all in our punching bags, right? And she's got their headset on, and she's just like leading this class, and like out of nowhere, I just start like hyper focusing, like watching her movements. I'm like taking in her energy, and I'm just like examining her, and I don't even know I'm doing it. Like I don't even know that I'm just like I'm like in absolute trance watching this girl teach us how to box. And what was so fascinating to me was just how in her element she was. Like, she was just flowing like with the rhythms and the motion, and the way that she like talked and like cared for all of the people there was like the most attractive thing. And obviously it's like she wasn't looking her best. Like her hair was back, she was in her, you know, training gear. She's not dressed up for a high school dance, a night out at the club. I just remember thinking like, holy shit, she's beautiful. And I was so attracted to how she carried herself and how she just naturally flowed, and she was in that rhythm. So anyways, this was a time when I was like moving, and yeah, I just thanked her for the class and up and left. And somehow, between the moment I first saw her and leaving the gym, I was like just completely in awe of like the type of person that I perceived her to be, at least. There's a quote by Brene Brown that says, "We are hardwired to connect with others, and without it, there is suffering." I think men are just as emotional as women. This kind of idea in mainstream culture that men are more aggressive, more, you know, we're more prone to anger, we're more prone to kind of destructive behavior. But without isolation of those manifestations, and you look at the core motivation behind them, they're all very, very energetically and emotionally charged responses to certain stimuli. Big part of this idea of where we get, you know, men aren't as emotional as women, almost like a surplus of masculine emotion that's expressed through men and some of these like negative behavioral patterns. And a lot of it is dealt with this subliminal cultural propaganda that says men, you know, they can't cry, they can't show weakness, they can't show their emotions. And so what that actually does is it teaches us to basically suppress that. And so what happens is that's where you get men that are just jaded. We're dead inside. Don't know how to appreciate clouds in the sky, going down a roller coaster ride, giving your grandmother a hug, baking cookies for your sick nephew. Like, what would help at least be a solution to this problem with men is to learn how to cultivate healthy relationships with other men, like straight out. So opening your heart and allowing yourself to be seen is absolutely paramount to your ability to connect with someone and form a bond with a potential love interest. And so for this reason, this is why you should never save someone. Because if you fall in love with someone that needs to be saved, eventually, as the infatuation subsides and you begin to see that person for who they really are, that's when you start to capsize and the relationship goes south. And people that need to be saved, once they get what they want from you, whether that's validation or sex, money, or a Gucci purse, 17 golden retrievers, or maybe they just like you because you have salt lamps in your apartment. Once that is received from you to them, they'll go to great lengths to make sure that that becomes a steady source of security that at times eventually is going to turn into manipulation. And now you've just created a beautiful mess of toxicity. Someone who is dependent on you to solve their problems, done at your own expense. And this right here is the root of toxic relationships. It's a lack of identity. It's a looking to someone else rather than accessing and realizing the type of person that you are, and instead projecting your lack onto someone else as a means to feel whole and to feel complete and to feel loved and accepted. And so how can you know what to expect from a partner if you first haven't taken inventory for yourself? Instead, they will be filtered through a lens of the judgments that you have towards yourself. So a little bit off tangent, but that's super important. So to sum things up, kind of, guys, being demisexual is a good thing. It's normal, it's healthy, it's not weird, it's not like kinky or whatever. I think as you grow and as you mature, and especially if you're one that has had like a really meaningful relationship with someone and maybe like it ended, it's tough to go back to casual dating. I know for me, like I went through a phase after a relationship where I just sowed my wild oats, and honestly, at the end of all of it, because I knew none of those people were really going to be permanent, it left me feeling pretty empty. Anyways, I think if anyone has had like something really sweet and meaningful, like, and you get out of that and you see a lot of your friends saying, go out, like party it up, like, don't feel the pressure that you in order to find yourself, you have to go out and date a bunch of people. Literally just focus on yourself, because once you get older, you realize the importance of having a family and settling down, as crazy as that might sound to some people. So anyways, that's all I got. Until next time, peace. And like, make those relationships